Hi friends, you're welcome back to the Crypto Day channel. And today I want to have a good analysis with you on the effect of the tariff that has been imposed on countries by the United States President Donald Trump. So let's have a quick look at what is happening and what it could mean for you and the interpretation of what this means for you as a crypto trader or as a player in the global financial market, whether you're in the stock market or you're in forex market or you trade indices, you know. So let's have a look at this. Well, if you trade indices like aesthetics, this may not really have an impact on what you're doing. All right. So, but if you're trading commodities, stocks, forex, crypto, that this is going to have impact in your industry. So let's have a look at DXY. In DXY, it measures the strength of the dollar, and as you can see, ever since the president became the president, the DXY has been on a downward spiral. Okay, I think the president was sworn in sometime in January this year, and if you look at this all the way from January, it's been a crazy moment for this guy. He's been breaking every possible support I can ever think of. It breaks it. So, and I recall that I had a class with a student. It was a private class, a one-on-one class, and I was like, okay, let's have a look at the support. If support level is going to hold, it didn't hold. Then, if you look at the other support here, also it did not really hold. It was broken down almost immediately. Okay, on DXY. So, currency-wise, things are not looking good for the US. Now, what effect would the tariff plan now have on the US economy? Okay, what effect would that have now on the US dollar? Of course, you need to pay attention to what is happening to the US economy because you cannot really be a success. A successful trader must always pay attention to what is happening to USD, except you are not trading or buying or investing against the US dollars. So if you're buying Bitcoin, you're actually buying Bitcoin against dollar. Okay. If you're buying gold, you're buying gold against dollar. If you're buying Apple stocks, you're buying Apple stocks against dollar. So especially if you are trading, Apple USD, BTC USD, Gold USD, you are all trading against the US dollar. So what happens to that must also be part of things you must pay attention to. All right. So the president imposed tariff on several countries of the world. China received, I think, over 30% tariff increase for Chinese. So, and the things are not actually looking good. And yesterday, a lot of cryptocurrencies actually tanked yesterday. So, if you go to coinmarketcap.com right now, you have a look at exactly what we are talking about. You can see the market is red. So, Bitcoin crashed all the way from 88,000, back to 83,000 yesterday. Ethereum crashed to 1,700. BNB crashed to 594. XRP now barely holding at $2 per ripple. So all of these assets they are actually tanking gradually. So all the gains that Bitcoin made yesterday, it lost it back to that news update. And right now, the fear and greed index is probably around 24, which is good for buyers. For those who are looking for buying opportunities in the market, this is a very good fear and greed index for you guys. The Bitcoin looks so good, but altcoin is not really looking really good, at the moment. So, if you look at this, you can see stock market didn't fare much better. Trading resource, So, the crypto fear and greed index score has returned on average rating of fear for the last week, but has now dipped to extreme fear now in the market. Now, let me now give you a deeper explanation of what is happening. Now, the US increased the tariff, okay, in a bid to protect their own economy. That's exactly why they increased the tariff, you know. Um, and if you look at this, together with my students, we've done analysis, and I'm pretty much short on Bitcoin at the moment, but I was expecting a movement which I'm going to present to you later watch in this video analysis. So it's supposed to be a good thing for the US economy because according to Trump, it is America first. Okay, and he's going to do everything within his power as the POTUS, which is the president of the United States, okay, within his power to protect the US economy, increase manufacturing in the country, create more jobs. That has been his key focus so far, and make America great again. That was his election mantra, okay, his manifesto for his re-election campaign. So based on that, he increased tariff across, against several countries of the world, including the European Union. I think the European Union suffered about maybe about 20% thereabouts, 20% thereabouts tax increase. So if you, I made a post on it on Telegram yesterday, I think. Where is it? Okay, I didn't post it here. Okay, so it was posted on the channel on WhatsApp, not here. All right. So now things should be looking good for the US. Let's say this is another support level that you might want to look out for the USD. Okay, right there. Okay, so you can want to look for this at this region, at the support region for the American dollar. So this is a very good region. Okay, support level for the dollar index. So you should be expecting some sort of reversal on US dollars, right? So at some point, maybe around the 100 mark or 99 mark on the index. So there's going to be some level of support at that region because it has broken this support, broken that support, and it is not looking so good that it will break this support because at some point I think all of the support is going to hold. Okay, some of the support are going to hold at some point. So at the moment, the concept is to make American great again, make dollar to become strong currency and weaken some other currencies of the world against US dollars, and make dollar great again. But um, this is what is going to happen. The other countries are going to react to the tariff. Okay, they're going to react to it, and most likely nobody wins the tariff war because if you impose 34% tariff on them, they may also impose 34 tariff on you. If you impose 20% tariff on them, they may also impose 20% tariff on you. Okay, and that will kind of cancel out the effect of that tariff. All right. So, but if the America is not able to manage the tariff very well, and probably the tariff is kind of leading to more inflation in the country, people who are investors will likely be looking at um, yield assets like gold, like Bitcoin, and they might want to use that to hedge against whatever inflation that is happening in their country. Okay, that's why I said there is still hope for Bitcoin to rise again. So if that tariff is not well managed, and price of goods increases in US, the biggest reason for tariff hike is to force a lot of companies who are currently exporting to US. Okay, the government will force them to relocate to US, set up manufacturing plants, and start producing in US so that they can avoid the import tariff. You get it now. That is the ultimate goal why countries impose tariff on certain goods to discourage importation of those goods in their country. So if at the end of the day, their aim of imposing tariff did not actually materialize, okay, if countries are not actually moving to US for reasons best known to them, and the people have to depend continuously on importing with high tariff, that will actually lead to increase in prices of some goods and services in the US. So if this should happen, then the next thing is that inflation might actually be on the rise. And if there is a rise in inflation, people who are holding dollar, cash or whatever dollar they have right now, they might want to invest to hedge their currency against the US dollar. And gold and Bitcoin, probably some stocks, maybe Apple Group stocks, might be some things that they might be looking out for to hedge against the inflation. So they will look at silver, they will look at gold, they will look at Bitcoin, they will look at Ethereum possibly. Okay, so these are the assets that they might want to be looking out for to be able to hedge against that. Okay, and that presents some more opportunities for Bitcoin. So, and that is why I might have a movement because I was actually expecting, based on fundamentals of things that have been seen, I was expecting a movement like this. Uh, you know, Even though I'm shorting it, okay, I was expecting a movement like this, at least maybe a kind of relief pump, before we now have an actual movement like this on Bitcoin. Okay, so I was thinking maybe my short, I'm currently shorting Bitcoin right now, and I had a live analysis of why I'm doing this with my students at the Trade to Earn boot camps. All right, so I had that with them. It was a live stream that we had together then. So now, based on some origin that I'm looking out for right now, a lot of whales are still premium accumulating now, even at this price. Some new wallets are actually buying, though even small right now, not that big. And some miners who are supposed to sell what they are mining so that they can recover back their cost, they are also not selling. Okay, so a lot of miners are not selling at the moment. So I'm expecting a price stabilization by this is April, right? By May, June, July this year, price should stabilize and probably have some relief pump before we have the actual crash that we are waiting for. So I honestly don't expect that Bitcoin will crash massively, without giving that fight, not having a good fight before we experience that obvious crash that we are waiting for Bitcoin. So even if the position should actually go back here and probably hit stop loss, okay, or probably misses, if it should hit stop loss, that's not going to be a very big deal because there's still going to be an opportunity to short the market again because obviously whatever goes up will actually come down at some point. So we just need to have to examine the chart again and look for a best possible entry, and enter again. Okay, but this is kind of a possible movement like this, maybe a relief rally to around 94, 95,000 before we have a crash and a very good crash back to around 60, 55,000, in the market. All of this is not happen overnight, okay? But gradually, some minor pullbacks here and there, gradually this is going to happen, okay? So, and you need to be very, very careful about this, okay? Because um, except you want to swing or take a position, you must know what you're doing if you want to trade Bitcoin. Yeah, the market is just going back and forth and it's presenting a lot of opportunities for scalpers. Imagine that you'll be scalping all the way from this point, as scalper, you are going to be making some good returns on your investment if you're scalping right now because the market is not having that momentum and the volume has actually dropped. I think the volume has dropped around 45,000 in the dark crypto market all the way from 70,000, 80,000, 100,000. Sorry, I think the volume has dropped to $44 billion. That's a drop from 70 billion, 80, 90, 100 billion in the last that happened in the last few months. So even though things look very dark right now, there's still a little bit of hope here and there, and you just need to pay good attention to what is happening in the market. So yeah, Bitcoin should have some relief rally. Okay, so if you're on spot, I think it will not be a bad idea to start doing your DCA. You may not start now, but want to wait for around some 5,000, some 7,000 and start your dollar cost average from that point. So you can do your DCA till around 40, around 25,000. That would be a good DCA for you. So for sports, it's still a very good opportunity to buy. But for futures, I think you might still make some gains by shorting the market at the moment. Okay. So that's it. Even though we are shorting the market right now, I still want you to know that you can have some relief rally, but that doesn't actually mean that you are having a buy signal for your short or your leverage position at the moment. So these are things to put into cognizance. If you look at the things I've said so far, investors should not panic, okay, because they should be strategic about their investment and have a good and look for a good entry prices for the investment. So, and for traders, the sentiment looks more bearish than bullish, but that doesn't actually mean that the Bitcoin will not have some pullbacks here and there, at some point. So you need to just be, don't have a tight stop loss, but tight stop loss take you out really fast. And the reason why we are still pretty much in this trade is that the stop loss is reasonable, and it's commensurate with the risk reward ratio on this particular trade. So that's pretty much what you need to know, with respect to tariff hike, the dollar index, the Bitcoin price action or Bitcoin market analysis or the Bitcoin technical analysis, That's all you need to do. All you need to know. Obviously, you can see right here that the trend has changed from being bullish trend to a bearish trend. Okay, so we can see that right now you are going to make more money shorting the market right now than actually trying to long the market, especially if you're a leverage trader. For investors, Bitcoin has always been an asset that will always outperform traditional assets. So look for good entries and start doing your dollar cost average to average out your risk, and be able to maximize your profit. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on notification bell. Okay. If you have a contrary opinion or you have a similar opinion, leave me a comment right there in the below the video. Okay, that's all you need to do. Don't forget to join us on Telegram and WhatsApp. The link to join us is going to be available in the comment box. Okay, join the platform and engage with us. Okay, that's how to stay tuned with the crypto niche community. So I wish you a profitable trading. I wish you a profitable investing. Enjoy the rest of your day.